Later, Ethan tries bonding with Charlotte by showing her a comic character based on her father. They share a rare tender moment until Heather interrupts, asking Charlotte to set the table and expressing appreciation to Ethan for his help. That night, Ethan checks in on Charlotte but finds her missing. He notices a sketch of a giant spider and Sting's jar on the desk. Just then, Charlotte returns, and he wishes her good night. Once she falls asleep, Sting escapes from the jar and slips into the vent. Gunter's parrot sees the spider and squawks in alarm. The next morning, at breakfast, Charlotte tries to engage with Ethan and Heather, but both are absorbed in work talk. Feeling ignored, she leaves the table. Ethan brings up the subject of Charlotte's father, pointing out that he's been back in town for 6 months but hasn't visited her. Heather insists she'll tell Charlotte when the time is right and asks Ethan to check on Liam. Suddenly, a scream comes from Gunter's apartment. Ethan runs upstairs and finds Gunter's parrot dead, its skin flayed and pinned to its cage. Gunter demands Frank the exterminator be called again. Upon investigating, Frank determines that the killer came from the vents and was small. He decides to fumigate the building. Meanwhile, Charlotte brings cockroaches to feed Sting, who mimics her whistle to signal hunger. When a mothball rolls near the jar, Sting reacts with panic. Charlotte moves it away and realizes that mothballs can dissolve his web, his greatest weakness. She also notices that Sting has grown, which excites her. Frank proceeds to spray pesticide around the building and almost enters Charlotte's room, but she stops him, not wanting her pet harmed. Frank advises her to get a dog instead, warning that spiders only know how to hunt and kill. That night, Maria is dozing in front of the TV when her dog begins barking at the vent. Irritated, she shoos the dog away and goes to take her medication. As she admires a photo of her late husband and children, Sting emerges from the vent and attacks, biting her cheek. The venom causes her to collapse. She vomits and becomes paralyzed, helpless as Sting climbs into her mouth and kills her. Sting continues to grow. Charlotte visits Eric, a biology student who experiments on animals, and borrows a fish tank. She introduces Eric to Sting, who stuns him by mimicking her whistle, something spiders shouldn't be able to do since they lack vocal cords. She feeds Sting a cockroach, and Eric, intrigued, suggests keeping Sting for observation in a secure tank. Charlotte agrees but makes him promise not to tell Ethan. Meanwhile, Ethan and Heather are mid-argument when a noise comes from the vent. Ethan investigates but is startled by movement and falls, only to find Maria's dog. He returns the dog to Maria's unit but gets no response. Using a master key, he enters and discovers Maria's body, then calls the police. Just then, Eric calls him urgently. At Eric's place, Ethan is horrified to see how enormous and deadly Sting has become. Eric advises contacting the Department of Health and Safety. Noting the danger, alarmed, Ethan rushes home and confronts Charlotte, demanding to know why she kept such a threat. Charlotte lashes out, furious that Ethan killed off her favorite comic character who resembled her father. Assuming her dad is in Thailand, she claims he's a better man than Ethan. Ethan, overwhelmed, blurts out the truth. Charlotte's real father has been back in town for months but hasn't made any effort to see her. Devastated, Charlotte storms off, and Heather angrily scolds Ethan for revealing something that wasn't his to tell, warning him that he's crushing Charlotte's spirit. Instead of notifying authorities, Eric selfishly keeps Sting and feeds him larger prey to observe his growth. Eventually, Sting outgrows the tank and escapes while Eric is